Hello. Welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast. Eddie's More, a.k.a. the Yum Yum Foodie. And if you're watching on video, you could see half of Megan's face from behind this gigantic microphone. Hi, Megan.
No one wants to see it.
According to your Instagram comments, everyone wants to see it.
No, they don't. They just want to see my big eyes, which is all you can see.
Well, yeah, that's kind of perfect. That's right.
Vlad the Impaler eyes, they call them.
Vlad the Impaler?
Gollum, they said.
That Titanic comment was the best.
Titanic would not have hit the iceberg had you been watching out for it.
That's fucking phenomenal. The internet does fucking win. So it is Kill the Bottle Podcast. Before we get to our guest, this is what Megan and I are sipping on. First of all, thank you to the homie.
Not good with coffee.
Not good with coffee, but really good with vodka, which is what we're drinking it. I'm not going to give the name of the vodka. Oh, it's a Russian vodka. It's kind of tasty. It's fine. But shout out to the homie Zeph, because my Christmas present from him, you ever had like a random Amazon package show to the door and then there's no fucking note, so you don't, thank God that he told me that it was him, because there's stuff that just shows up at your house, you have no idea what it is. But he sent me a case of Fever Tree sparkling Sicilian lemonade, and it is fucking delicious. It is so, I've never had this before, and you rave about it. It's only 50 calories per can, so it's a little 8 3/4 ounce can, 250 ml, only 50 calories. And bravo Fever Tree. This shit's tasty. Do you like it, Megan?
Yeah, not with coffee.
Well, fair, but you're drinking it with vodka now. Yeah. You're drinking it with vodka now.
Better.
Yeah. Speaking of drinking it with vodka, I don't know. It was like a shitty segue. I'm going to get right to our guest on the show today because he's actually been to the Pecking Room. He didn't have vodka. I think we drank whiskey last time we were at the Pecking Room. You have seen him on Chopped. Actually, this gentleman right here he's a chopaholic. I don't know. I'm making this shit up. No, but you have seen him on Chopped. He is a homie, and he's been talking about getting him on the show forever. And of course, I get him on the show when he fucking moves away. But we'll get to that in just a second. But welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast, Chef Dom Crisp.
Oh, thanks so much, Eddie. And it's so nice to meet you, Megan. I'm really happy to be here. Good to see your eyes.
So the world is seeing her eyes right now. I think right now the satellite that's flying over the Pecking Room can see through the walls and see Megan's eyes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're setting off some kind of so Dom, thanks for coming on the show. I know this was like it's been a while in the happening of it, and I always like to I prefer to have people in house, and it just hasn't worked out. So it's great that we're able to chat here today. So Dom and I go a bit ways back. Met him first through the restaurant you're working at here in Pasadena, Sasso. And then the Lonely Oyster, which is another one of my favorite restaurants here in LA. But what are you doing now?
So I do this joke like Sasso is a Basque-inspired restaurant, but I'm doubling down on that, and I'm going to open a Basque restaurant in Santa Barbara. We actually purchased the building, which is a big deal because restaurants are just like not sustainable unless you own the building.
Wow.
If you want to know more about that, Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out are great examples of people who do that. So it's kind of taking an example from them, but just, equity is everything, right? In longevity. So that's what I'm doing. And we're just like right in the middle of it. Like literally this week coming up is when we break ground on the construction updates. And it is no joke. Santa Barbara, I mean, I've dealt with Pasadena before, but Santa Barbara is like a whole nother monster.
In what sense? Just a bunch of fucking rich people telling you what to do? Or because that's what I imagine.
Permits?
Yeah, like, is it like,
but like I think the people from the city they're a little bit more, they're not like rich people, but they, it's the classic, like you're waiting on one guy to sign off one thing that you've been waiting on for like 3 days, and you're like, where is he at? You know what I mean? Like,
check every golf course within a 4-mile radius.
Yeah, exactly.
You might have to pay off some people with caviar. That's what I think your signature move might have to be.
Well,
instead of like, is this something Mr. Washington can take care of?
Ooh. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Crumple up another one. Another George Washington?
Looks like he's pulling out drugs, but it's caviar. Like
man.
Secret packages.
They are drugs.
That's actually That's what happens.
That's
like,
exactly.
at most parties.
Yeah.
Or it's a Yeti full of oysters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point.
I see a funny video coming on. You got the good stuff?
Yeah, I got the good stuff right here.
It's like oysters.
Yeah. What is it? It's beluga.
Beluga.
No fentanyl, no fentanyl, no fentanyl.
No, fentanyl-free beluga.
Yeah, fentanyl-free beluga.
That's
I
my
like
band
that.
name.
I like that's going to be actually a future thing. Somebody's going to be using molecular gastronomy and like auger and all this shit, and they're going to make fentanyl caviar. I think that's going to be the new. Yeah. That's going to be the new move. Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, different bumps for different folks.
I've been trying to work for Big Fentanyl for a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've dated enough Mexican guys that could bring it over the border. So I mean, at this point,
Like legal though.
Oh, legal.
I just have really good slogans. Have you heard them? I posted them online.
No, I didn't, but I want to hear them now.
Like fentanyl, once you pop, the fun absolutely stops.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Fentanyl, it gives you wings.
Literally. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I like that. I like
How
that.
about fentanyl? Bet you can't just have one.
She is going to hell, by the way. It's wonderful to have a first class ticket to
Like
hell.
a good neighbor, Narcan is there.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
like that one.
That's my favorite.
I like that one. That really helps our future potential sponsorships. I like that.
Sorry.
That's a good
Big
one.
fentanyl.
Big fentanyl.
I
Hashtag big fentanyl. So Dom, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from for the guests at home? Because obviously, I know the homie, but where is the homie from?
Okay, so the homie is from Oregon, and I'm from like a farm, but it's a vineyard. So like people are like, "Oh my God, you're from a vineyard! Like, of course you're moving to Santa Barbara, right? Like you're rich and bougie." And I'm like, "We are farmers and bump, 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 bump." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's what it totally
but-
Nice.
No, so we're farmers. Grew up on the farm. Was actually born on the farm. Like if you can imagine what that was like, and I have like a big family, even though I'm an only child, and I really try to get out of the little small town I'm in Corvallis, Oregon, where the Oregon State University is. And my grandfather started the speech and communications department there, so he was like an intellectual. My father was more about, did theater down here actually at UC Davis, and then moved back there to have me with my mom and be close to his family. And growing up on the vineyard was awesome, but growing up around my dad was really cool because he took me to like a lot of wine functions, and that's where I kind of got the palate, for food, and started drinking wine when I was really, really young, like 13, kind of understanding it, talking about it, getting faded off of it.
That's very European of you.
Fun.
Very, very European of your folks, really. To like,
I used to steal bottles that he was like making before he released his wine company, and take it to the skate park and just get so fucked up. Like,
I mean, yeah,
so
it hurts a lot less when you're hammered, and there's less chances of breaking a bone. Actually, I'm not promoting child drinking, but
floppy.
Like if you're just like extra floppy when you fall down. You're kind of a bit of a rag doll.
Name one skateboard trick.
An ollie.
Oh, look at you go.
See, look at that. Like, she's trying to stump me.
Any other brain busters?
A little half pipe action? No, I don't fucking know anything about skating.
Oh, so that's what I was asking. I was wondering.
No, I know
Megan,
about rollerblading. That I used to do a lot of, but I never really skated.
What?
We could make up our own trick, and we could call it the fentanyl flip.
Fentanyl flip.
Yeah, bet you can't.
Dead.
Dude, just boom.
Boom.
Well, I like that, the fentanyl flip. I think we should stick with that.
We should really offended.
New shirts available on the Kill the Bottle podcast Amazon store.
People get they get offended.
They do.
They're like, I've had family members. I was like, at what point do we not like? We do say don't do it, right? We've done that. Now we just kind of have to make jokes sometimes.
Absolutely.
And if it's not making more people aware not to do fentanyl, my slogans, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, at this point. Yeah.
Offended by
Absolutely.
the truth? I don't know what to tell you.
Wait.
Fentanyl flip.
Now, is there a so when you're drinking at 13 and you said you develop a palate, do you develop a palate at 13, or are you just excited to drink? Are you excited to like sneak it away from your, because I mean, as a kid, I just remember getting buzzed on rum that was like snuck under the table to me
Of course
like
you went straight to
Thanksgiving.
rum.
Well, dude, I mean, come on.
If
seriously.
you want to know my story, like the one thing I blacked out like hardest in college was Sailor Jerry's rum. So there you go. Like you started on that you started on that rum. I started on fine wines, like organic Pinot Noir from Oregon. So of course my palate was like being etched from marble, my friend.
Let's give a shout out to the folks. What's the name of the winery?
So it's Lumos Wine Company, and it's right outside Philomath, Oregon. Like you're going towards the coast, like Newport, Oregon. That's where actually like the whale Keiko used to live. That's like the big claim to fame. So shout out Free Willy.
Is that part of a region of one of the Oregon wine regions or no?
It's like the tail end of the sperm to the wine country, because like it all starts like just south of Portland, Oregon, and you go straight down Highway 99, and you can hit like everything. And at the very end, that would be like my family's region, which is still amazing, and it's really good for Chardonnay. Like where we're from is like prime Chardonnay growing because it's kind of like a little higher altitude, has its own little like, area, terroir, gets a little colder. It's super sick. It's a lot like Burgundy. So.
Well, and also you guys make really good sparkling wine. I've been lucky to have the wines at your house and then have them at Lonely Oyster as well. And I mean they're great wines.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure you tried that champagne, which is
I
crazy.
sure did.
I had a bottle of the 2014, the same stuff that we had when we got married, like for New Year's. It's super special stuff, and like he's just not like pretentious. My dad, he's a farmer. My brother is a winemaker now, and he's equally just like chill. But our wines are inexpensive for what they are. Like people like Antica Terra was a really famous winemaker. I think her name's Maggie. She buys the Chardonnay from our home site and sells it for like $150 a bottle. It's just crazy.
That's smart business. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Have some other farmer do the work for you, and
can
you just
guys
take the credit.
Can you guys do a quick improv scene of pretentious wine owners? What it sounds like?
Oh yeah, it's like always like this. They're like,
yeah. How much new French oak? How much mallow? They won't even say malolactic fermentation. How much mallow?
Yeah. No, I remember going to these parties with my dad, and like there's always that guy who like smells his wine too much, and I'm just like, bro, just drink your wine. And I was like, there wasn't even a low-key wineaholic at that point. I was just embarrassed to be at the party with him because he was just so pretentious.
I wish you were in town because I'm having a wine hang tonight, which Megan is invited to. I'm having a wine hang tonight.
I am in town, bro. You don't even know where I am right now.
I don't. I have no idea where you are.
I'm in Los Angeles still. I moved next week.
Oh, fucker.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you're welcome to come over.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to tell you some good news is I will be coming back to LA frequently because all of my really small, amazing purveyors, I have to drive here to get all the good shit, like all the Wagyu that you've had, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I need to still come here to get it. And I'm kind of tying in this like soccer experience into my thing. And guess where the field is? It's like a couple blocks down the street from your boy.
Ooh.
The Pecking Room.
I like.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny. You just made me think of that episode of Portlandia. Like I think it's like the first episode of Portlandia where they're sitting down at the restaurant and they're asking about the chicken. And if you, oh my god, if you haven't seen this show, it'll drive you fucking insane. But at the same time, it's brilliantly funny. But it can just torment you because it keeps going. The joke keeps going. Yeah. Have you seen this, Megan?
Portland up.
In this first episode, Fred Armisen and the lady who's on the show, I don't know her. I've seen her before, but I can't think of her name. They just go to a restaurant and it's just making fun of people from Portland, and they order the chicken, and it dives into the whole story of the chicken, and they need to know where the chicken is from, and it's just very Portland. And they have pictures of the chicken and his name. And they want to meet the farmers and all of this while the waitress is trying to get their order, but the waitress is all into it too. That's it.
Yeah, she's like, she won't stop it. Like the waitress is like catering to their every need and like whim about this chicken. What's funny though, it's not making fun of people from Portland. It's making fun of white people. Like, let's just be very clear about that.
Yeah.
Because Portland is overrun with white folks.
That's funny.
You know what's funny? I was about to mention something to Megan about Meteora, and it leads to this question. I don't know how. Well, I mean, you've been in LA for long enough to understand and at least know about the LA 101 best of. And her and I were bitching about this on previous episode, and we were talking about the list of 101, and like our favorite meal that we had last year is not on this list, and we just think it's a bunch of horse shit. Like, you know, somebody giving reach arounds.
The name of the 101 to, what is it, Contagion or whatever, from all the news from the oyster outbreak. They should just change the party name to like
I had
outbreak.
So many oysters that night, bro. That's the best part is because Providence had their fucking oyster service, and you can't tell me if you don't see Providence, which is a restaurant that is on my bucket list to go eat at, and they're doing their oyster service, and I didn't get sick. I ate like a half a dozen oysters from their.
You know why? Do you know why?
No.
It's because of the rum that you had when you were a kid.
That's fair.
That's why.
I think so. Would all the Chardonnay, would that have allowed you to get sick through all of that or no?
Oh, yeah. I would have been so sick. I would have been thrown up.
So
no, I'm glad you didn't get sick because, like, I don't want anyone to be sick off oysters.
Fuck no.
Matt King, the guy from Eater, was literally like, I will probably never eat raw oysters again. You know it's bad. Dude. When that, like, someone...
Dear friend of mine, and I said it before, but a dear friend of mine went for his anniversary to one of a restaurant in LA, not the Lonely Oyster, but a seafood restaurant in LA that I love very much, that I recommended. And
I'm so glad you're like, I'm not going to say
he got sick for 4 days. Him and his girlfriend. And God. I was like, well, at least you look fabulous. You shit your brains out for 4 days, you know, and you didn't die.
Oh my God.
But
that's like that's the new Ozempic. It's actually not GLP-1s. It's just get sick from oysters and just stay at your house for 4 days.
I like your thinking.
I don't like that at all.
I like your thinking.
That doesn't sound good. I'll take Ozempic.
Beauty is pain, Megan. Beauty is pain.
So Dom is one of the. And this is something that like kind of drew me to you when I first ate at Sasso. I was so impressed that a white guy was cooking that food. And I mean that as like the biggest compliment ever because I love Spanish food and I'm a bit of a snob for it, and I seek out great Spanish food. And I was so just happy when I tried your food at Sasso. When do you remember that first memory as a kid? When did you start cooking? Like where does that come from?
Yeah, so my mom was like an astonishingly good, fearless chef in the kitchen at home, and like I know that's like the classic like. We're making fun of white people. Like, let's do it. Cause like, I'm a white guy from Portland who's inspired by his mom in the kitchen. It's like the classic, like I am that stereotype and I love it cause I lean in full cock. But then, you know, when people give me shit, I'm like, hey, my mom's dead, bro. Chill out. It's a very,
but I use that joke too. Don't worry. It's great. It's not great that our moms are dead, but it's great to have that in your back pocket.
I use that joke too, but my mom's alive.
She's just dead to you. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Please continue, Dom.
Yeah, but like
as your brother listens to this,
she's a beast, man. Like she was doing crazy stuff. She was on a raw food diet for a long time, so she was making like carob and banana ice cream out of a juicer that like blew my mind as a kid. Like where I was like, oh, this is 2 ingredients, like very little sugar, like using ingredients natural state and just executing it at a high level. Like one of the best quesadillas she ever made me was insane. It was like cast iron skillet, really big, nice, like probably a whole grain tortilla because she's total like hippie vibes. Tillamook cheddar cheese before it was cool because that's some Oregon shit. It had really good avocados with sea salt. It had sprouts and really fresh tomatoes in it. And I just remember taking the bite and just like in my head, just how it like hit all those notes, you know, because like crispy tortilla from the cast iron pan, umami from tomato, fat from avocado, even more richness and savoriness with the cheese. And then the fresh crispness of the sprouts. None of it makes sense to like someone who makes quesadillas, you know what I mean? But like it was pretty epic for me because that was her style. And it just showed me like be fearless, make great stuff. I had an amazing mentor too growing up in Portland. That's Davide Filippini. He owns the Gallonero, which is a really, really great Tuscan restaurant. I also have a mentor in France who is an expat, Italian, American, Jewish, insane chef named Mark who taught me a lot of things while I was over in France training. So there's a lot of people who have inspired me along the way. But I would say my mom and Davide, my mom just taught me to be fearless and just unapologetic when it came to flavor and just like my way of doing stuff, where Davide gave me more chops about being a chef, being charismatic, having regulars. Like he would be rolling tortellini and brodo with one hand while imagine a cigarette in his other hand, but he stopped smoking. He looks like Nosferatu too. Like he's not like a very good looking guy. He's just like very charismatic. Like people just gravitate towards great chefs. They want to be around them. They want to talk to them. They want to hear stories. They want to exchange stories. They want to and that's what I do. Like I'm not this like I'm an expert at seafood and oysters. Like I would say oysters specifically is something I'm very passionate about and can talk a lot about. And if you came to my restaurant anytime this last year, you would have not gotten sick. But because of my sourcing and how I allocate. But I think that it's very difficult to be like there's so much talent, but then it's like running a restaurant is so different than being just like a chef on TV or TikTok or whatever you're doing. And I really like this like OG way of being a chef. And that's what Davide taught me how to do. It's just like, hey, make great consistent food and then just like have regulars and then like you're set,
Give me a sense of the timeline. You're a kid, you start to fall in love with with cooking. Where did you go straight from high school into culinary school? What was your trajectory?
I started working illegally in a restaurant that I won't name, but it's the best pizza restaurant in my hometown. And it was a pizza restaurant, but it's the most high volume restaurant in the town as well. Like it's right next to the college, and they have like pizzas, calzones, and then like salads. Huge, like big operation. They open multiple locations in the same town, and they just like crush it. And it's still good. It's still consistent. So I worked there for 3 years. So it was like working at like the coolest place in town. And did everything in there. So I think that's the key is like working somewhere as a kid and getting almost like radicalized by the people around you to like, hey, do you want to do this? Learn this. Hey, do you want to work this station? Do that. You want to be cashier? Do that. And then you start learning customer service. You learn how to wash dishes. You learn how to work the line. You learn how to work the ovens. Like you learn how to work under pressure. And then you also learn how to work with other people, which is the hardest part of the job. And so that was my first initial like taste of hospitality was there. But then I worked in a bank because in your head, you're a kid, you're like, I need to make more money. And you're like, oh, of course I'll make more money in a bank because like that's what they deal in. Not the case. It was like it's super terrible because I went in there with like high volume in my head, like I'm gonna crank this day out, and it's like slow, meticulous, like don't fuck up. Like it was terrible. Then after that I went back to working like a bakery, moonlighted in a bar, so I started learning bar work. Eventually moved up to Portland, so I was there for 10 years. Culinary school was always something I wanted to do, but what I ended up doing is brushing shoulders with a lot of people who were in culinary school. So they would teach me a lot. I would learn a lot on the job. And then finally I was like, I need to go do intensive training. Hence, getting hooked up through family to go work for Mark in southern France at a bistro de pays. And I did that in high school. And then I also went back like when I was like 23 or 24 for like more intensive culinary training. And that really like broke me. Like the last time I went there, I was like broke me like a wild pony in regards to like, this is what I want to do forever, because you need to commit, right? Like friggin' Eddie, you want to be what forever? An Amazon box opener?
Absolutely. I want to open up boxes that I don't know what's sent to me. Hopefully not dog shit, but like I want to just open up
the dog shit. The flaming dog shit is the ultimate fucking next day prime gift you can give somebody.
Yeah. No, I love the video of the guy whose boxes kept on getting stolen. So he's like, fuck this. He got an Amazon box and turned it into a cat litter box. And his cats would just shit in it. And instead of dumping it, he would seal it back up and put it on his front porch. And he would just record people stealing cat shit from his front porch. But then another guy took it to another level, and he started baking shit cookies from dog shit, and then he created and 3D printed like fake packaging and all of this, and he made like these beautifully packaged dog shit cookies and put them on his front. Yeah, that's the look at Megan's eyes right there. Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's where
I like that. Like, you need to get a little bit of revenge. Like, if people keep doing shit like that to you, it's like they might come back and light your house on fire, but it might be worth it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
people upstairs in my place are really bad, like really loud, and I haven't said much about it because I feel like that's just how it is now everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been really, really bad, and so I finally snapped the other day, and it wasn't even a big deal. I just took their welcome mat from in front of their door and I hid it. And I feel good about it.
Where did you hide it?
Underneath the stairs in the hallway.
Oh, is it still
do they
there?
know
Have you
about
checked?
you and your podcast?
No.
Okay.
All of a sudden now it
All they
pops up on
know-
their algorithm.
All they know is me banging and calling security on them constantly. But
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's well.
I like
I
that.
finally
like,
I lose
you know.
it. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you that fat? First of all, there's no way possible.
I mean, we're in the United States.
I
They
said-
might be that fat.
I said there's no way they're that fat because they never fucking sit
There's
down.
a Jack in the
They
Box
never
very
sit
close to
down.
your house,
No,
so
they were-
they might be that fat.
like for hours back and
Are
forth.
they like? Let's just before we pass judgment. Like, are they like river dancers?
They might. Yeah, they might. It
no,
might be
I
Michael
would know
Flatley.
that. I would know that.
Yeah,
it
you
would
sure?
be more in rhythm.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
They vacuum twice a week, sometimes at 6 a.m, and it's just so loud you can just hear it.
That's a great commercial for like a Dyson.
Yeah.
Like so loud it's gonna wake up your fucking.
How about so soft? How
down
about,
below.
but the funny part is we have hardwood floors, so I don't know what the fuck they're vacuuming. What are you vacuuming?
I have hardwood floors and I vacuum.
That's
I have dog hair.
Sweep.
Yeah.
Get over it.
No, you can vacuum with that.
You
Just
can
don't use
sweep.
the. Oh, really?
You can sweep, especially when people live underneath you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mhm.
I find myself,
I don't-
because I lived above people, still being careful. And people don't live beneath me now, but I still find myself like not slamming things and then being like, oh, wait, no one's beneath me. I'm just aware.
Do you know?
Hmm.
Do you know how I know how no one cares anymore?
Hmm.
Because do you guys know what lungers are? Like when you're driving, what a lunger is?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's like when you're driving, right? And then someone's like they pull out, like they're gonna pull out, and they keep pulling out, like they don't stop.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
So you're driving. My wife and I call them lungers. Everyone is lunging. Like everyone, no matter where you are in the city, lunging is like a thing. Like they all just want to be first to be out there. And I'm like, no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be first. They're fucking in it for them. Like, good luck. Honestly, just get them a new welcome mat that says we're loud as fuck.
Oh.
That'd be great.
No, I'm not going to spend money on them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
It would be funny though.
They need to find their welcome mat. They can go on a scavenger hunt outside of their apartment.
How
to go
about that?
look
How
for their
about that?
welcome mat.
Like just
I
chat
like that.
GPT a scavenger hunt for them.
you
and
want
then
to
it
find
don't
your
even
welcome
take
mat?
any
It's
time
somewhere
to
in the
it.
building, bitches. Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. It'd be like V for Vendetta vibes, but like it's about their welcome mat where you're just like, you have your welcome mat. I have it. It's like some scary
Or
shit.
it's, what's the
A
You wanna
USB
play a
drive is
game?
just found on their front door with a muffled
Yeah.
voice.
want to play a game?
Yeah, dude. You want to play a fucking game?
No, you handcuff a pair of something to their door. Just put it there.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Well, then people also think that I live right next to this like walkway that goes. There's a door outside the side of the building, and then there's a walkway that goes down to the exit. There's an outdoor exit, and I didn't read this in the amenities when I signed my lease, but apparently that's where you play fetch with your dog in that walkway.
Oh, it's
at
a great amenity.
5, 6 in the morning,
Yeah.
and who cares if you're
Clackety, clack, clack, clack.
yeah, you hear the door slam. First of all, that already wakes you up, and you're like, "Oh no, now I'm in for it," because you hear it back and forth with the collar.
jangles.
You hear the pause, and then heaven forbid, sometimes they hit our air conditioning units with the ball they're throwing, which is very loud, and you're just like,
Holy shit.
"What are you doing?" Like, and
Move to Hollywood, they said.
it'll
It'd be great,
fun.
they said.
I said I want a top floor. Leave me alone.
You know
They
where that
keep
doesn't
stealing
happen?
the internet out of our laundry room because it runs on internet. People steal the internet from our laundry room in this nice guarded building. They steal it, so we can't use the washer dryers because they steal
Wait, what
the
do you mean?
internet.
They steal the router?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh, thank you. They steal the internet. I'm like,
Okay.
that is.
Well, that's what they're doing.
Okay,
The
well,
internet
fair.
has been stolen, is what the email says from the laundry rooms. So you can just steal your
I
router.
love it. And they just keep putting it back.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's classic.
barely.
When some shit keeps happening and they're just still like, no, just
I tried to do my laundry the other
reattach
day, and only 2 dryers of the 6 were working, and one was full of clothes that were dry and left there for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to the office and I was like, can I get this out? Like, can I pull this out? I need to dry these clothes. This guy's clothes has been in there forever. She's like, I wouldn't advise that. And she was like, out of 6 dryers, 2 are working. Like, I was wrong. I was like, yeah, you think I wanted to come in here and talk to you about this? Out of 2 dryers. Anyway, that's enough of my apartment building.
When is your if you can say, when is your new place scheduled to open? It's Restaurants World, so it'll never open on time. But I mean, when is it scheduled to open?
Yeah, ideally it'll be spring. I mean, that's when like construction will be complete and we'll be ready to rock. I mean, we have to open soon. Like this whole thing is like it's like a game. It's like a crazy budgeted game. Like you have to be on it. Like some things they get out of hand, but if there's one thing I'm confident on, it's my construction team. So that's good.
Question as a fan: is there a Josper in the plans?
You know it, baby.
Yeah,
you know it.
Fuck yeah, dude. Will it be the only Josper in Santa Barbara? Is what I'm curious.
No, I think, dude, it's crazy. So sales for Jospers have been pretty high lately. I think there's a lot, but I know there's for sure one in San Ynez, and then there's a lot of stuff happening in Montecito. There's definitely other Jospers there, but
explain to Megan what a Josper is. Sorry, I'm just yapping Josper, and she's looking at me like I'm crazy. It's the way she looks at me. But
it's a Spanish oven that runs on charcoal, and it has like a door. So they're really sexy looking. They almost look like a Cadillac kind of. And then you open this door and then there's these grates to pull out, and the grates are over coals. So you're just like, you're baking all your meats just like right over some coals. It cooks everything a lot faster. It imparts a lot of great flavor. I'll probably be putting a little bit of some grapevine in there as well to add some more flavor this time. There's a lot of things that I'm going to do this time a little differently, and I'm really excited about because, you know, we're going to have fun with it. Like it's almost like a great classic American continental menu meets a Basque menu, which is really great.
I mean, and I think of somebody like you because I know you and I know how creative you are. And I got to imagine it has to drive you crazy to have to stick to a menu to a certain extent. How?
Yeah, I mean,
like, how do you navigate that as somebody who is, because every time I would go see you, you're always busting out. You're like, I'm working on this thing, and you want to try it, blah blah blah. And I got to imagine that's got to torment you to think that you have to stick to a certain menu.
I'm kind of the opposite now. Like, Eddie, there's a lot of things that I've learned actually being at the Lonely Oyster, which was like, give the people what they want, make everything a banger on the menu. You know, like I think that that's really important. Make everything, it's not make something for everyone, but just make everything that you put forth like quality, good, consistent. And I think that that is my bread and butter. It's like, sure, there's some things on the menu that are going to be astronomically fun and delicious. And then there's some things that are just for the person that just wants like a fucking grilled cheese sandwich, like like there's a lot of simpletons in this world who just want something comforting and easy, and they don't want to be told, oh, this is so good because it's got this cheese from Spain and this and that. It's just like, chill the fuck out. We're still in America. Everyone's running around on Ozempic, so you need to like have small portions or else they won't finish their food. It's a very interesting time to be alive, honestly.
That's a great point that you make out.
Yeah. I've been talking about this a lot with my friends because I'm not on it. I've never been on it. Like I think it's a very interesting thing because it's this explosive thing that actually affects things so greatly in regards to how Americans eat. Think about it.
And we still don't know what it's going to do to people. Realistically,
yeah, we're a very obese population who eats junk food. So the junk food businesses are now slowing down. Restaurants are slowing down, and people are still going out. But it's funny because we all see it too. Everyone's like, what is being projected? It's like pizza, burgers, tacos all the time. People like eating in their cars being silly. But I'm like, what are regular people actually eating? And I'm like, they're not eating a lot, because they're on Ozempic. So I think it's kind of the perfect time for Basque and Spanish food because of pinchos and tapas and the way that eating culture is, where you go in, have a drink, and eat something small if you want it to stop there. So I think that that's what I'm really excited for is like, I will tell you straight up right now, my bar menu is going to be one of the most fun menus that I've ever come out with. And that's the menu in between lunch and dinner and our late night menu. It's called the bar menu. And I'm really excited about that because it's about value and it's about, having fun, getting great drinks, and then also just about small portion.
I mean, if you need me there for friends and family night, I will make sure that I am up and
Well, dude, I don't know what your situation is, but Havana Club's on the menu because we're doing our Spanish coffee again and we want to do it tableside.
Oh
So
my
if
God,
you've
that
been to
sounds so
Cubers,
good. But I'm gonna go up there anyway. That's perfect excuse right there. I'm gonna go up there and make sure that your Spanish coffee
dude,
is on
I
point.
love my sister was apparently conceived after one of these cocktails, the Spanish coffee.
Oh,
So
man.
it's pretty wild.
That's right.
Yeah.
It makes you extra vigilant. You're
It
Or
makes
not.
you, yeah, it makes you just forget to use protection. So
That's a good slogan for a drink.
That's a great
So
great
good,
slogan.
I forgot protection.
It's called the bareback coffee. That's what we're gonna call it on the menu.
Oh.
no, it's actually raw dog. Please, you can raw dog life. You can raw dog anything. I'm raw dogging this fucking interview.
As you should. What are you sipping on over there, sir?
So I got the Laie. This beautiful red vermouth is from Barcelona, but it comes to us from my buddy Raj Nalapathala, and he has this in a couple places in LA. So
Thank you for
Laie.
pronouncing his last name for me, because as many times as I've met Raj and I've seen his last name, it is like a Rubik's Cube for me. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you for
No,
pronouncing it, and
in
now
my
I know.
phone-
Now I know how to
In my
pronounce his
phone,
last
every
name.
time I see it, I get self-conscious that I spelled it wrong. Like when I see it, it's pretty funny. I get it though.
Now, for example, something like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and let's say I'm at the Lonely Oyster, and I'm going to move on. I would feel compelled to have my legacy kind of stand, to make sure that everything is left in place to continue success.
Yeah.
How do you do that? For people listening, when you're in a position, let's say as a chef or cook, and you've developed a place and help really get it off the ground, and it's your time to move on. What do you do to ensure that quality control, or that that nothing falls through the cracks?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and thanks for asking me because that was something very much on my mind as I prepared to exit there. And Lonely Oyster was really good to me, so I specifically wanted to make sure that they had the most put together team. And I think what was special about that place is that it had been running itself for a while before I had even put my notice in, which is something I knew about the kitchen. Maybe not the whole restaurant itself. Like there's always issues and drama in restaurants, unfortunately, just because we're a people powered industry. But I left the best team in that I've ever worked with there, and I think that it's hard for me to be like, oh, I did that. It's like these people do it themselves because they want to do it because they're passionate about it because they're career chefs and cooks in that kitchen. Chris Stagliano was there.
Oh, yeah.
He got promoted to chef de cuisine.
He is? That's amazing.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
half Cuban Argentinian brother. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Chris is that I think that with him and I working together, there's a lot of like me teaching about leadership, him teaching me about pasta, me teaching him about seafood, him teaching me about being a father, as I now am. And I think that is the most healthy relationship in anywhere is the give and take, and the mutual respect. And that's what Chris and I had. That's what a lot of people and I on the staff had. The owner and I, Don, definitely had that mutual respect. He's also a father, so he really allowed me to have this work-life balance that was like, I am forever grateful for that. So the Lonely Oyster has a solid core menu. They know how to change things seasonally. They know what to do. They know who to get the best stuff from because I was there. But what they also have is the most epic team who, if, they can all just stay together and again, not be selfish and be lungers They're
This
going to
won't be a
be
lunger.
they're going to be super solid. Like I think that restaurant arguably is one of the most consistent restaurants in regards to the food. And now they have a great new general manager, which is Nick Brown, and he comes from insane hospitality lineage. So they have the potential to be, continually be a 38 essential. We got named that when I was there. I don't see why they would not do that continually. It's they give people what they want, and I think that that's super important. They're not trying to like reinvent the wheel when it comes to like oysters or lobster rolls, because that's just not the point.
Did
like
you
the
get
point
it?
now is to be.
Did you get a celebration when you left? Was there a little cute like this is my last day?
No, I mean I didn't really want that, to be honest.
Oh,
I just wanted, this was a very selfish decision on my part. And what I'm doing is it's all about me and my family moving, like literally getting out completely out of our comfort zone and trying something very difficult in a new market that is a very like difficult market to crack into. Like it is a very wealthy place that we're moving to Santa Barbara. We're not wealthy. We're trying because we want my kid to grow up somewhere phenomenal, and we want to live out there. We want to walk around our city. We don't want to. We're so tired of driving. And so that's we just started like have dreamed about moving to Santa Barbara, my wife and I, for like 10 years. So I think that was always in the back of our mind. So when I left Lonely Oyster, I was just like, hey, I don't want, let me just roll out. I
what?
got so
You
much to
just
do.
dipped?
He
Yeah.
left because he wanted Santa Barbara uni. Gosh, he just wanted to be
Yeah,
right close
exactly.
to it.
I always wanted people to
It,
celebrate me when I left my jobs, but no one ever
No, they
has. I
celebrated
asked
you
for
leaving.
it too. You didn't even ask for it.
No, they celebrated after
they
you left, Megan. That's the
oh my God.
what?
We really, again, they've celebrated me a lot while I was there. Like, I think that, uh, yeah, it was a
That was
very,
enough.
yeah, it was awesome. Like working there was so sick. Like it was really great. I wouldn't want it any other way in regards to like how it all happened. So
How did you end up competing on Chopped? How did that come about?
you usually get recruited. And if you want to talk about Chop, man, that episode really, really pissed me off because it was the first episode in my mind that I knew that was like almost like scripted and catering toward like a theme more than it was about, oh, let's get this food out. And then the judges too were like, it was like two great chefs and then a random person. Like they're doing that now with the Food Network challenges, and like that was actually under a HBO blanket, Warner Bros. I'm not even sure, but they had, um, oh my God, I need to remember her name because she's phenomenal. Ingrid Bergman's daughter, I think,
Oh,
was the
Isabella
guest.
Rossellini?
Yeah,
Wow.
Isabella Rossellini.
The fuck?
She's
I pulled that
amazing.
out. I'm like your
She's
lifeline
amazing,
for Who
but
Wants to Be a
like
Millionaire. Yeah.
when they say like Chopped is hard, it is very hard. Like you have to be, if you're looking for something, like when you go for your ingredients, you have to make, this is what happened to me. You have to make sure no one else grabs what you need and be aware of it, because you can still take stuff off other people's table if you ask. But I was looking for something at the end of when I fired it and could not fire something correctly because I was assumed it was still around and it wasn't there anymore. Like stuff like that happens. And then they gave me a recipe at the beginning of and they were like, this is a recipe for coq au vin. And I was like, oh, thanks. They're like, make a coq au vin inspired dish in 20 minutes using chicken hearts, potato powder, and shaved carrots and fucking, I forget what it was, like cranberries or some shit, dried cherries. And
And
I was
Lumos
just
Pinot
like,
Noir.
yeah, exactly. It was crazy. And like in the time, like that's what happens. Like the competition show that I won was Food Network, and it was awesome because it was like we cooked out of these fridges and like an actual person's fridge. And it's like I'm way more comfortable with that. Like I dig around my fridge all day at home. So you really end up winning these things through practice, but that Chopped was specifically difficult because of the Julia Child thematic influence into that game. The woman that kind of like we're going head to head, she ended up going all the way and winning that competition all the way through. She battled, she cooked like 6 times to win or something like that. And she worked for Rick Bayless, or is working for Rick Bayless. So like the pedigree too was just so phenomenal on that show. Forever friends, meeting people like that. But it's like those network shows can be very deceivingly difficult. Like,
well, what's your best advice for? Because I've been on the side of judging, I've never been on the side of competing, and I've never wanted to. That's just not anything I want to put myself through.
It's kind of like you just what was successful for me was having recipes that I knew would work that kind of can blanket and morph into something beautiful. Like I ended up winning my show because I had this amazing cookie recipe that I knew I knew I was going to make a cookie because like that's impressive to do in the time you have done. Like making hot, delicious, warm cookies that are an actual cookie.
Jasper cookies.
Exactly. Like in, let's say 45 minutes is difficult in its own sense, but then it's like you mix in these other random ingredients and it still has to make sense and translate. So having a great set of recipes that that are stuck in your brain that you can execute and then build on creatively, very important. And also just like stick to your guns. Like when you want to do something, just do it all the way. Just full send, commit.
Yeah, because the clock is real. That clock goes on, real. And they ain't no fucking around. Like you have that amount of time, and that's it.
I just got done with a really fun show that was actually on my Instagram, which is like, I like it because like again, everyone needs to be joking around, not take themselves too fucking seriously right now because like shit's just out of control right now in the world, and we just need to like the best thing we can do is be a little bit, sarcastic. And I think just as a chef too, we get all wound up about like, oh, we need to like look this type of way and have this like serious about it. It's like, dude, I just did this sick show on for Dropout TV. It's all about comedy. It's like I made like poop churros like on the show that were like delicious. Like, but they're like make a fucking plate that looks terrible, but it has to be delicious. And I literally just made a plate of shit. Like it looked like shit. But that was it. Like in my head, I'm like, of course I'm gonna make this, Yeah. And yeah, like it was so much fun. And like that's a very difficult challenge. Like imagine asking like, Thomas Keller to make a plate that looks like shit, like he might struggle.
That's how you trick him actually. I think that's how you mess him up because he would, like he would be sitting there with tweezers putting like corn in it. You know what I mean? Like he's sitting there. Exactly. He's really trying to make the prettiest turd you've ever seen in your life. So, okay, it's going to be, at some point, it will be your last day in LA, officially living in LA. What?
Do you want a goodbye party then?
Yeah.
I'm really set on this.
I couldn't tell. She's not going to participate.
I'm not going to be there.
She's not going to help.
I wasn't going to be there.
No, she just wants to really encourage you to have one. Yeah.
Can we book your upstairs neighbor's house for a party and just wreck it?
I like your thinking.
So.
We'll call it the doormat party, and everybody has to bring a doormat.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Well, it might help because maybe a layer of doormats in their house.
Oh, now you guys got me thinking. Now I'm going to start stealing other people's doormats and putting it in front of theirs.
Don't fucking ruin other people's doormats.
You don't need them. It's a carpeted hallway. What are you doing? Wipe your feet off on the carpeted hallway.
Okay, Karen. Thanks.
That's so
you don't
weird.
need that.
It's a carpeted. I have a welcome mat inside where I put my shoes on. Inside.
Yeah, because you have hardwood.
Yeah, it's a carpeted hallway.
That she doesn't vacuum.
It's very strange.
She's going to really encourage you to do that. So, your last day in LA, what is your perfect breakfast, lunch, dinner? If you're going to have a drink in between, coffee, like what does your last day in LA in a perfect world look like? You don't have to, it's just you by yourself. Like you're taking in, let's say these are the last times you're going to go to these places. Where are you going?
Let's just say I'm with my son now because like he's full blown accessory in my life right now.
He's like Baby Yoda. It's great.
Oh, dude, he is like talking though, and like he loves to be. He made me food this morning. Like he was like, he made me this fish with sauce. Like he loves to be like a cook. Like he's like 2. It's so sick. Like he's mini me. He's mini me. So him and I would get up. We'd probably, you know what? Like I really like Terramar coffee. I think it's good coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drink a lot of it. I would go there because it's near my house in Boyle Heights. And then we'd probably go to the park and then we'd go up to like SGV. Probably to he loves Daikakuya and in what is it? The over near me or the we'd like Golden Deli. So probably Golden Deli would be my choice. Get some more coffee, get some of those egg rolls, get some pho, go to another park because my kid's like fucking addicted to parks. Come home, he'd probably nap, and then I'd be scheming about where to go next. And I'm like, I just got back from Spain. Like, I can fucking go hard. And if it's my last day, like, I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 lunches or dinners,
Okay,
probably.
bring it.
Just like if we're gonna send it. So while we're waiting for Holy Basil to open up in Atwater, I'd probably go to Mini Kebab
Oh,
and
mini
get some
kebab.
chicken and
Fuck,
thighs.
so good in Glendale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's also oh we can go hard here. So I'd probably go to Mini Kebab, get a plate, chicken thighs with the rice and everything, eat some of it, but bring some of it home. And then Holy Basil would open, so I'd be like one of the first in there with my little dude. We get a table. I get one of their hibiscus drinks, and then probably their let's see. I really like their pork belly that they do. So I get their pork belly. I get some of their noodles or their rice dish, or I mean, their even the eggplant they do is just so fucking good. So a couple dishes from them because I always joke. I think it's like Thai tapas because it's like perfectly sized Thai food. And then I go home, get them ready for bed, and I think for my last meal in town, it's so difficult, Eddie. You put me on the spot. But I think, to be honest, I'd love to have a plate like of Chris's pasta, even if it's like getting it from his house, like if he's home. Um, and then I'd go have a drink at like HMS Bounty. That's like one of my
Nice.
favorite bars in Koreatown. I think Koreatown too is just a great way to like begin and end an LA experience. I lived in Koreatown for a while, and I there's some super awesome scummy bars that I love. But I really like the Myeodong Kyojo. I think that's how you say it. It's MDK noodles. It's like phenomenal place on Wilshire that does like pork and shrimp dumplings and amazing minced chicken noodle dishes. And yeah, I just love it down there. So I think that's kind of how I end it, but I for sure ended at like HMS Bounty.
Well, when your son is 21, you go back and you find this episode, and then you go and do
Yeah.
this with him. You still lay him down for a nap at some point because
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to hang like you hang, and then you just take him
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, or just let him nap in the bar, like it's totally fine. Like, there's plenty of booths.
There's that.
At HMS,
Yeah.
yeah, you can nap
You know,
anywhere.
That's a great way to begin.
I forgot La Cita too. I'd love to like go to La Cita. I really love La Cita, and like I just thinking back, like I grew, up here doing collabs and doing pop-ups for Chinatown After Dark in that little plaza that Colleen Ray's and Amboy is in, and was La Cita, was Lhasa, was yeah, it was just like I had a really spoiled upbringing here because it was like immediate exposure to like all the people that were doing amazing stuff, and like Jonathan Gold was just kind of like walking around the periphery of what everyone was doing. It was just like really fun. So I'm definitely gonna miss it, but I'm only an hour and a half away, so I need y'all to stop blubbering,
Well, one of the best things about what I do and what I've ended up doing in my life through the randomness of what is my life is meeting people like you through a random set of experiences that now I will be friends with for life. Your journey in LA has not ended. It has only begun. And I'm super excited about your journey.
Are you sober?
In Santa Barbara? I am sober, unfortunately. I put such a small amount of vodka in this fucking thing just so that I could say I'm drinking, day drinking, because I've cut down tremendously. I slept so good the last 2 nights. So the worst thing about having this fucking Aura ring is that it measures your sleep. And the days that I don't drink, I'm like, hey, you were so rested. You were so this. I'm like, fuck you, Aura ring. It's the biggest promotion to never drink. Anyway, your journey in Santa Barbara's, I'm so excited for you, man. When you texted me and when we spoke, and I'm so excited for you. Guys, please.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime, man. We got places for the homies to stay.
Well, and you got a place to crash if you need to in the Dina while you're here picking up some stuff when you come down late. You know that, bro.
It up there.
You know that. I'll leave you back here in the pecking room. Guys, so check out at Chef Dom Crisp on social media, at Chef Dom Crisp. Follow him right now so you can find out when his new spot is opening once it's good to go. Obviously, I'm going to share it as well, but just in case, follow Dom as well. Chef, the only thing we don't get back in life is time. And Megan and I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your precious time with us here on Kill the Bottle Podcast. I'm excited for you because your son's getting his first haircut. So we got to make sure that you have a heart out. I'm not making this up. Hopefully he has the same kind of flowing hair you have, which is all we can hope for.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Well, I'm super stoked to meet you too, Megan, and thanks, Eddie. Always. I mean, it's always so fun to
dude. You're a homie. You're a homie.
Positive guy.
So, guys, please like, rate, review, subscribe, all the above, and you know what? If you go on Megan's page and you make fun of her eyes, make sure it's a good fucking joke. That's worth us.
I haven't heard yet.
Let's make it a good one. Something that's worth revealing here on Kill the Bottle Podcast. So anyway, guys, see you next week. Bye.